Well, let's listen to what the BMTC MD had to say in this regard.
Yes, it is. Price hike was required, and we were thinking for the last 2.5, 3 months, but because of the election code of conduct, we were not able to do it. So yesterday, the election code of conduct was relaxed by Election Commission, and keeping that in mind, because we were suffering quite a heavy loss. Every day we are having a loss of almost about 1 crore rupees. So to come out of this whole mess, we decided to increase by 15%. See, if you see the first stage, we have increased from 5 rupees to 6 rupees. So it is an increase of 1 rupees. And second stage, we have increased by 2 rupees from 10 to 12. And third stage, we have increased from 12 rupees to 14 rupees. So the increase will be in all the stages, and it will be in the range of 15% around roughly. So when we take the average of all the stages, it comes to about 15% increase in AC fare also, as well as the non-AC fare also. But what happens, because we have to rounding to the rupees, so in the initial phases, the percentage hike will be slightly more, but in the later stages, the increase will be not that much. So overall, it comes to about 15%. This increase, after this, we don't have any plan to increase for the next 1 year. So 1 year will follow the same pattern what we have done right now. Now, if you don't take this decision, we will go in a vicious cycle of loss making, which is not a good thing for any transport corporation. So keeping that in view, and the expenses which are going to come in 2014 and 15, people will react to it little bit. But it was inevitable, because if you don't do this thing at this point of time, we will go in a vicious cycle when we will never be able to come out of this loss-making business. So with this increase, I am confident that 2014-15 will be a very smooth year for BMTC, and will be able to provide better and better service to the people. As far as the subsidy from the government is concerned, it's a very debatable issue, because we know the many corporations which are getting subsidy from government, but if you see their performance and our performance, there is a marked difference. So what happens, that subsidy, if you are getting from the government, it brings the element of laziness in the organization. The organization soul dies. We start depending upon the government that, okay, subsidy will come, subsidy will come. It kills the whole initiative of the organization. So my personal feeling is that we should try our level best, and to improve our efficiency and take the cooperation from the computers and be a self-independent organization. It is always better in the larger interest and in the long-term interest of the organization. There is no second thought about it, but these are the realities. If you see the inflation in this country, for the last 2 years, we are facing an inflation of 10%. And the diesel prices, in fact, 1.5 years back, it was 42 rupees. Today, it is 61 rupees, increase of more than 50-55%. So DA increase of the staff, like every time you get, every 6 months, it is increasing by 10%, 10%, 10%. So these are all like a very unprecedented situation we have gone through in the last 2 years in BMTC. So this is a result of that. And I will only request, I need the support of the commuters to come out of this whole mess, and it is possible only with their support. And I can only tell you that I'm not going to make even a single rupees profit out of this thing. It is just to cover my losses and to take care of the future expenses. And as far as the performance parameter of BMTC is concerned, we are the best in the country on any parameter of performance. So we are giving the best efficiency possible, but we will try to further improve it with the use of information technology and these kind of tools.
Well, that is what Anjum Parvez of the BMTC MD had to go on to state, that it was but obvious for the BMTC to go ahead and hike fare soon after the poll code of conduct was released, as it has been suffering losses for close to 2 years now, and that it is a vain option to actually expect the government to fund it when it is suffering losses. Instead, it needs to get into a healthy cycle of passing on the losses to the users of the transport. Well, my colleague Bansi joins us live from Majestic. Well, Bansi, what are the kind of reactions pouring in with the bus fare hike?
Well, Nishita, the BMTC has carried out yet another hike, fare hike. Now, this is definitely unwelcome because who travels by the BMTC buses? Mostly people who are in the lower middle class, the lower middle class and the poorer sections. Now, any hike, even by 5% or 10%, is definitely going to hurt them. And this is by a whopping 15% they have hiked the fares. Now, let's look at all the fare hikes. If you look at the past, let's say a period of 2 years, they have hiked the fares 4 times. And if you look at the overall fare hike, if you put it together, altogether, cumulative hike will be about nearly 60%. That is a huge, huge hike because for the poorest of the poor who use BMTC buses, this is definitely going to hurt. Of course, for someone using the Volvo service, it is not going to hurt so much. But for those using the regular services of the BMTC, this is definitely going to hurt. Now, BMTC has a fleet of about 6,000 plus buses. And many of these buses, the fares can be kept at a constant if they bring down the pilferage, because the BMTC suffers colossal losses due to pilferage. So if these rates come down, then the BMTC can break even. So the trick is not really in really hiking the fares, but the trick is in economizing the routes. The trick is really in cutting pilferage. That is where the trick is. The trick is in using smaller buses, because on several late night hours and early morning hours, the buses run completely empty. So they can use smaller buses at those times. These have been suggested. These are not some miraculous suggestions being made, because there is a group of citizens who have been fighting against the BMTC bus fare hike. They've been fighting for well over a year, and all to no avail until now, Nishchita.
Right, and also we understand that commuters have come in and 15% hike was midnight last night. There seemed to be no warning as well. Soon after the poll code of conduct was lifted, there was a fare hike. So what are the kind of reactions pouring in? What exactly are people saying out there, Bansi?
Well, Nishita, the people definitely will oppose any such hike, because the people are extremely sensitive to this pricing. Because a 15% hike simply means a person paying, let's say, let's say 100 rupees would now have to pay 115 rupees. Now, that is not so much hurting, but when you pay it on a daily basis, that is when it hurts. Also, let's understand that the cumulative fare hike is about 60%. Let's say over a period of 2 years, they've gone through 4 fare revisions. So each fare revision has hurt the common man. So that is where it hurts, because inflation is one of the serious issues to blame, and for the common man, definitely this hurts. On a cumulative level, if someone is paying 60% more on a daily basis, that is when it hurts, Nishchita.
Right, thank you for joining us with all those details there, Bansi. Well, my colleague Bansi getting their reactions from Majestic, and clearly people are not too happy with the kind of reactions that they are receiving at the moment. The prices were increased midnight last night, and although the BMTC is trying to justify it by saying that it is to cover up the kind of losses that they are suffering, the common man is certainly not happy. Well, in fact, the BMTC hopes that this increase will bring in additional revenue of around 235 crore rupees during the next financial year, and that's the reason why they have hiked the bus fare. It has been hiked by a whopping 15% though, coming in as a rude shock to commuters who were hoping to travel as usual early this morning. And this is the kind of hike that we are seeing, that you see in your television screens. Well, the BMTC has to increase its revenue by more than 300 crore rupees during the current fiscal to cover up for the losses of 2013 and 2014, as well as to take care of future increase in the cost of operation. The balance increase of 60 to 65 crore rupees is planned to be achieved through ongoing process of route rationalization and by improving performance parameters. The corporation said this while trying to explain as to why they had hiked the prices so steeply. Also, the unprecedented increase in diesel prices and staff cost as well as other consumables has pushed the BMTC into losses. Although the final balance sheet is under preparation, the losses for the year 2013-2014 may be ranging somewhere between 130 and 140 crore rupees is what the BMTC went on to state. Also, there is going to be a further increase in diesel prices in the coming months, as well as increase in dearness allowance of the BMTC staff.